friends, welcome to another episode of Killingly Public Library's craft videos. Today we're going to make a leprechaun magnet. And I started by punching the beard in orange, kind of an orangey color, reddish orange, with this scalloped edge paper punch that I have. If you don't have something like that, my circle here is 2¼ inches wide. You could trace a jar lid that's roughly the same size and just take a pair of scissors and create a scalloped edge on your own, or you could use some fancy scissors like this that create a scalloped edge, or just don't even make it scalloped. Maybe just kind of like an upside down Christmas tree type of a thing, something like that, and give him more of an angled beard than I did with the round beard. Get creative. It's just all about having fun, right? For his face, I'm going to glue his face on, but not before I make it. I'm using just like a I don't know, it's kind of a yellowish beige paper that I had in my office. This is a 1 3/4 inch circle. The top of your spice lid is exactly that. If you don't have the spice lid, how about a K-cup? The circle here fits inside the K-cup, so trace the outside of the top of your K-cup where the foil goes, and then just cut a little inside your circle. Or it doesn't have to be the exact sizes I've used, just so long as your circles, gradually increase, decrease, whichever, way you're going. For this is another piece of that cardstock that I'm going to use for his ears. And I traced the end of a marker, so that worked for that. And this is another piece I'm going to use for his nose, and I just traced the end of the pen cap for his nose. It was just a little bit smaller than the marker, and so it kind of graduates. And let's see, then the eyes, I have this great punch for his eyes, but you could use just a regular hole punch if you have one. If you don't have one, the end of an eraser was the same size as the hole punch that I had for the white of the eye, or you could use the wooden end if you haven't sharpened it yet. And let's see, then I have these really tiny, it's the other half of that punch that I used to do the pupils. It's just a little tiny black dot. If you don't have that, you could just take a little marker and make a little dot. You could use a crayon too. You could use Google Eyes. If you have Google Eyes, you could use that instead of paper. It's totally up to you. Maybe even some craft paint if you have craft paint. You could do white and black. Just get creative and see how you can do up your eyes. And let's see what else. His hat, I made a green square. It's 1 3/4 inches. I chose to make it that size because it seemed like it went well with the circles that I was using. But if you are using different size circles, you'd want to make your hat smaller or larger. Maybe you don't want it to be a square hat. That's the way I wanted mine. Maybe you want to make it more rounded of a hat, so in which case you could just find something a little bigger, like another jar lid about this size, and just don't use the whole thing, just use half of it. And let's see, so then for his brim, I went with a piece that's 1/2 inch wide and 2½ inches long. I think that the size is pretty good anyway, so that's kind of how it would look. I have a little band to go on the hat. It's the same length as the hat, 1 3/4 inches, and the width of the band is just 1/4 inch. And let's see, what else do I have? I created a mustache by taking a piece of paper and folding it in half, just a little scrap that I had. I folded it in half and kind of did like half of an oval type of a shape there. And I did it that way so that it could be kind of symmetrical. It doesn't matter if it isn't. And then I used the piece I cut out to trace onto some more orange cardstock and cut it in half. So it kind of looks like, you know, it'll look kind of like the mustache once it's under his nose and hanging there. Last thing that I had created ahead of time was we also have this neat little heart punch, and I created 4 small hearts out of a lighter green cardstock, just to try to make a 4-leaf clover. So as you heard, I just said try. I didn't do this ahead of time, so hopefully it works out the way I want. And I punched with that same circle punch like I used for the eyes, a tiny little piece of gold to put in the center of the hearts, because I think that they're not, you know, the way they're gonna come together, I think they're just gonna need a little something in them, and I just wanted to add a little gold. You could also do like a gold buckle on your hat, take like the band here and cut a small square out of gold shimmery paper, or the gold, you know, just like a plain gold cardstock, like kind of yellowish or something. And you could just take your band and put the gold square over it. I don't have a gold square, but I'll put my circle over it. How's that? Put your circle over it, and then cut another small piece of black paper to look like the band weaves in through the buckle, and just put that right on top so that it kind of lines up with it. So that's something you could do if you wanted a buckle on your hat instead. So let's start assembling. So like I said, this is from the top of the marker. This is going to be his ears. I'm just going to take my scissors and cut it in half as best I can. And hopefully I didn't give him some incredibly large ears. I was thinking this would work well. And I'm just going to use some liquid glue today. I don't like to use the glue gun with paper crafts. It gets kind of bulky and can leave like big bumps under. It's not as nice to work with. So no glue gun today, just using the liquid glue. You could use a glue stick too. I mean, you could certainly use a glue gun if you don't mind the thick bumpies under the paper. Also, another thing would be like a tape runner, if you have that in your craft room, something like that, where it's more instant. Okay, so I've got my ears glued on. Now I want to take and glue his mustache and his nose. So I'm going to figure out where I want to put the nose, and I'm just going to kind of have the mustache kind of coming out from under it like so. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to do something like that. So I'm going to play with it a little here and put the glue on the mustache and attach it to the nose. All right, so there's my mustache glued on. One thing I meant to do, and I didn't do it before I glued the mustache, I'll just do it now, is I just wanted to take a cotton ball and I put some red marker on it, and I just want to brush it on just to give his nose a little kind of dimension, a little depth to it, so you can see that he's got a nose on his face. And I'm just going to blot this on some scrap paper, just so I don't I want it to come out kind of more pinkish, but I didn't have a pink marker, so I'm just using a little red. All right, so there's the nose. I just put a little bit of color to it. I'm going to glue it onto his face now. Okay, so there's his nose and mustache on there. If you wanted to give him a little mouth, you could certainly do that. I'm not going to. Let's see. So now I would like to do his eyes. I'm just going to glue the whites down and give him a little eye. There's his whites. You probably can't see them too good. That was, dab a little glue onto the pupils here and attach them. And there's his face all set. And I'm going to glue him down to his hair now, kind of like so. Something like that. And there you go. His face is on his hair, beard, whatever you want to call it. It's a little of both because it kind of wraps all around. I have a little more showing on the bottom because I wanted to give the effect of it being a beard, but do it however you'd like. I'm going to just set him aside for a minute while I work on the hat. And so I'm going to take my brim and I'm going to take my band and I'm going to put them on my square. Now, if you want to round your corners, you certainly could. I do have a corner rounder to round the corners if you wanted it to have kind of a more softer look. You could even take your scissors and just kind of give it a rounded edge if you'd like. And there's nothing wrong with keeping it square. I think I want to give my corners a little rounded edge, so I'm just going to put them in my corner rounder and just the top. That's all. I don't need to worry about the bottom because the brim is hiding that. So it would look something like this now. And I'm not liking the 1/2 inch brim, so I think I'm just going to snip a little bit off of it. There. Just a tiny smidge. It's just ever so slight. I don't know. I just didn't quite like the 1/2 inch. Maybe I measured it wrong. It just seems a little wide to me. That seems a little better. I know you wouldn't think that that tiny little bit would make such a difference, but I do like it better this way. Okay, I'm going to glue the black band down, and then I'm going to put the brim over it. So there, I've glued the black band on, and now I'm going to glue the green brim over there. So you can glue your brim as high or low as you want to give it, or your band, either for that matter, to give it however deep you want the band to be. And now I'm going to try and glue those 4 lighter green hearts that I made to see if I can make the shape of a 4-leaf clover. So hopefully I can do that without messing it up. There, so now you can see what I mean about why I wanted that little yellow dot, because where the hearts come together, you can see right the little piece of black band showing through. So I'm just going to glue this tiny little gold piece there. So that is what I was aiming for. Now I'm going to glue the hat onto his head. There, so that's my little leprechaun. I did not round the corners of my brim, but if you wanted to do that, you certainly could. And my last part of my project is I have one of these magnetic strips. You probably get them all the time in the mail. Somebody's selling something, and or they're thanking you for your donation or whatever. You're getting all these magnets in the mail. So I'm just taking one of these. I ripped off the logo that was on the front, but you can't remove all of the paper. It's still there, but it's a better surface for me to glue to the back of my leprechaun for him to now stick, say onto my filing cabinet back here or something. And I'm just going to kind of cut a long strip because he's kind of long. I can just cut a long strip and stick it back there, and he'll be able to stick wherever I want him to. And there we go. He's got a magnetic strip, and now I've got a cool little leprechaun magnet to kind of jazz up the fridge or the filing cabinet, whatever I choose to for the spring, specifically around St. Patty's Day. Maybe that's not what you want to do. Maybe you don't want to turn him into a magnet. What about a greeting card? You could take a piece of white cardstock and just put him on the front of your cardstock. Or what about putting a treat behind here that he could hide a treat, and you could give him as a little gift to someone. You could cut out another circle and glue it kind of behind and put the treat inside, something round. What about a gold coin, right? I mean, isn't the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow the leprechaun's looking for? So a nice chocolate gold coin would fit great, and then you could leave it like so, or just put another piece of paper there to kind of hide it. And I don't know, just a few little ideas, but something simple and quick with paper that you might have around your house, even little scraps. It doesn't have to be big pieces, so you can make him as small or as large. This was just the size that I went with, and if you like him, then you can try to create them with some sizes similar to you, like your spice jars or your, spaghetti sauce lid or whatever. So thank you so much for stopping in today. I hope you enjoyed this craft. I would love to see your finished projects. If you would please share them with me at info@killingmepl.org. I would really appreciate that. And thanks so much for watching today. I'll catch you in another one of our videos. Until then, have a great day.